What is going on, everyone? You're back again with another video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about Baseball United's Arab Classic. Now, this is the first international tournament at this stage, I'm pretty sure in the Middle East, which is very cool to see. This all took place in Dubai, so that means the UAE is the host city. And this is pretty cool because it was the international debut of the Saudi Arabia national team and the United Arab Emirates national team, which is very cool to see. We love new countries getting into the sport. So let's just kind of go over the group stage and we'll go over the bracket and actually who won in the placings for all this. So in total, there were 9 teams in this tournament. We're going to start in Group A that had 5 of them. You guys can just see the standings right here after this all took place. So it was pretty lopsided, a lot of these games, I will say. We'll start with Afghanistan. They only put up 4 runs. Like, they didn't really play well. They absolutely got destroyed. They put up 4 runs and they let up 55, so, not the best. And they didn't even have a close game at all. Like, every game was a blowout they played, so it just wasn't a good day for them. But they did score the most runs off Pakistan, so maybe that's something to say as well. But yeah, just not a good tournament. They go 0-4, so definitely not the best looking forward for them. Maybe they played some good competition. I'm not sure what it was, but they just didn't have it. Bangladesh came in 4th and also didn't make the bracket. They played a little bit better. They put up 15 runs, and they gave up 28. And their games were kind of competitive, not really. They got absolutely destroyed by Pakistan. Then they absolutely destroyed Afghanistan. And then the final day, they played their last 2 games versus the UAE and India, and it really wasn't close. It's really not good for Bangladesh. Obviously, they beat Afghanistan, so that is something I guess they could say. It wasn't really good. These 2 teams didn't really make the bracket. And if we look at both these teams on the newest ranking of the world, this ranking was of September 18th of 2024. Afghanistan currently ranks 70 out of the 80 countries, and there's a lot of countries tied in points. So they're definitely at the lower end of the points in the whole world. And Bangladesh is ranked 67th in the world. So really not good. Obviously, these teams are at the lower end of the world rankings. Like I said, it was so cool to see them play in this tournament. So coming in at number 3, who actually made it to the bracket, was India. Now, they once again just beat the teams they were supposed to beat. I kind of expected a little bit more from this country. So they obviously beat Afghanistan and Bangladesh like they were supposed to. Those games weren't really close at all. And then they lost to the UAE and Pakistan. And once again, those games weren't really close at all. I think the closest game in this whole little bracket was a 6-run game between the UAE and India. Like a 6-run margin was the closest game we had. So it's kind of crazy. There's just a lot of blowouts here. So India ended up getting 3rd in the group. So not a horrible performance from them, and not great. They scored 21 runs and they let up 21. So not horrible for them. They ended up getting 3rd and making it to the playoffs. Now the UAE, it's their first time ever in an international tournament. So they come out the gates looking pretty solid. They obviously get their first game. They beat India in that close margin, which we just mentioned. And then they go on to beat Afghanistan, and they go on to beat Bangladesh. And their game versus Pakistan, they ended up losing 10-3. So once again, still not close. But for the first international tournament, I mean, they actually performed pretty well. They obviously scored 34 runs and only let up 13. So a 21-run margin is pretty insane to think about. First time as a country, they were obviously the host for this, so had a lot of the home support there as well. But yeah, absolutely great debut for the UAE, so I'm very excited to see them moving forward. They ended up getting 2nd in the group and making it to the playoffs. And obviously in number 1, we got to talk about Pakistan. Absolutely dominated in this tournament, which you guys are going to see. I mean, they outscored their opponents by 43 runs. They put up 49 runs and only let up 6. The margin is 43. I mean, that is absolutely insane. They had a couple of players from all over the world. There's a couple guys that played in the Mexican League. There's a couple of Japan players on their team with Pakistan heritage. So that's how they're able to play on the national team. But obviously, we know Pakistan's been in the qualifiers before. I don't think they've ever qualified for the World Baseball Classic. But once you get to the qualifiers, you're playing some good comps. So you're going to have experience under your belt, which this team clearly did. So they're able to top the group. They obviously got a bye in the bracket, which we're going to show in just a minute. Absolutely phenomenal performance from Pakistan. Now, before we continue on with the rest of this bracket, I want to talk about the stadium they made, because this stadium is absolutely beautiful. Like, they actually modeled this stadium after Yankee Stadium, which was pretty cool to see. And honestly, I really thought that this stadium was state of the art for where it was. You guys can obviously take a look at some of the images I'm putting up on screen. We can see it's an all-turf field, by the way, so the ball was very bouncy. We saw that in a lot of the games. Not too much foul region, I'll be honest. The stands down the lines obviously kind of go to the end of the dugout, you could say. And they have the bullpens in the outfield, and there's some stands in the outfield as well, with some lights and with some scoreboards out there. But honestly, it looks like a minor league park, I'm not gonna lie, which is not bad at all. I'm not saying that's bad at all, but definitely had like a minor league park kind of feel. I would say this would be like a single A stadium, or even maybe a rookie ball stadium. But they honestly had a decent amount of fans there as well, especially when the UAE was playing, because that was the host country. But yeah, this is Baseball United Park in Dubai, so very cool. It's like 30 minutes out from the city center. It's where a lot of the cricket stadiums and the soccer fields are. But really cool stadium to see them play. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be back here for the Baseball United Cup, which is going to be in February, which is exciting. And then we'll see what happens for the season 1 of the whole league. I'm not really sure if they're going to be traveling for that, if they're playing it all in Dubai. I'm not totally sure about that yet, but a very nice stadium. Alright, so going on over to Group B. Now, this group only had 4 teams, so it was a little bit more straightforward. But coming in last was Nepal, and I did kind of think Nepal was going to play a little bit better than they actually did, but they got absolutely destroyed. They only put up 4 runs, and they let up 41. It really wasn't a good tournament for them. So yeah, just really not the tournament for Nepal at all, and honestly, they just really didn't look good. Like, there was no positives I could take away from this. Yes, they did put up a couple runs, but overall just not good. Nepal is currently tied with Afghanistan at the 70 range as well, so we'll see what happens for them. Obviously, playing at these international tournaments is going to help them moving forward. Who knows, maybe this country could get a team in Baseball United somewhere down the road. I think that'd be pretty cool. But coming in at number 3 was Saudi Arabia, obviously their first tournament, right? This is their first tournament, their debut tournament. Honestly, they didn't play too bad. I thought they played okay. You know, the Sri Lanka game, they put up some runs, but they also really couldn't pitch. They absolutely destroyed Nepal, and then the Palestine game, they kind of got destroyed. Their run differential was 22 runs. They put up 29. They let up with a -7 run differential. So not horrible their first outing. They obviously did get 3rd, so they did make it to the bracket. That's why Group B was more straightforward, because, you know, pretty much 3 out of the 4 teams were going to get out. But not a bad international tournament for Saudi Arabia. We're going to cover them more in the playoff bracket. Now, coming out number 2nd was Sri Lanka. Now, this team actually surprised me a lot. I haven't seen Sri Lanka play in some international baseball tournaments. Obviously, I know they played in the Asian Cups and all those tournaments before, but I haven't really seen them play, so I was very surprised to see them come out and almost win all 3 games. Obviously, they beat Saudi Arabia pretty easily, and then they played a tough game versus Pakistan. It was a 1-run game, probably the best game I saw throughout the whole tournament, and that game was pretty much the decider for the first place, which kind of sucked because they actually did play pretty well, and then they destroyed Nepal. So I'd like to say it's a pretty good tournament for Sri Lanka, and I'm excited to see this team moving forward. Obviously, they go 2-1, and the run differential was +18, so pretty solid overall from them. And then the top of the group was Palestine, going 3-0, beating everyone they faced with a 26 run differential. Like I said, the game versus Sri Lanka was very good, and Palestine, because they got the number 1 seed, they get the bye in the bracket. But going on to the playoff bracket, it was a 6-team playoff bracket, and in the first quarterfinals game, it was Sri Lanka versus India, and it was only a 1-0 game. Like, they had some really good pitching in this game, some really good defense as well. They were to get an inning and kind of get a run across. Really good hitting from Sri Lanka in that inning, and India ends up going down. Unfortunately from them, they finished 5th and 6th. If you look at India on the rankings, they're also tied at 70 with Nepal and Afghanistan in this tournament. So very interesting to see India back at it again. Obviously, they're one of those emerging countries in baseball, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, they're going to be in this whole Baseball United system, so it's going to be exciting to watch them play again. And Sri Lanka moves on. Now, going over to the other side of the bracket, it was the UAE versus Saudi Arabia. Obviously, the 2 new teams, right, are playing against each other in the quarterfinals. Wasn't really close. The UAE won 9-1, so Saudi Arabia goes out of the tournament, and UAE goes on to the next round. Saudi Arabia, once again, I thought they played pretty well for their first tournament. Obviously, with more investment, the team's going to get better, and the better facilities and coaches, so they're still an up-and-emerging, country in baseball, but they have a ton of money to invest into it, which is going to be exciting. Since it's Saudi Arabia's first international tournament, they're obviously not on the rankings, the world rankings, which goes off the WBSC, which is all the rankings for every national tournament pretty much. So they're not on the rankings, so hopefully once they actually compete in an event for points, they'll actually can be on the points, which will be exciting. Yeah, by the way, this tournament was just for money. There wasn't any points on the line, which was kind of unfortunate. I kind of wish they had some points on the line, but it is what it is. Moving on to the semifinals, it was Pakistan versus Sri Lanka. Now, once again, another close game, 3-0. They had Sri Lanka is good at playing close games. I think that's the key when you look at this whole tournament. The games they lost were close games. I mean, look at the Palestine game, only 1 run. You look at this game, only 3 runs. So they definitely put up a competitive time, playing all these games. So definitely props to the Sri Lanka team. I'm really excited to see them at more tournaments, to be honest, and I'm excited to see how they perform. Obviously, so they're going to go out in that 3rd, 4th placing. And if you look at the international stage, they are actually ranked 49th in the world, so very impressive from them. We'll see how they do moving forward. Once again, if they keep moving up and keep playing well, they could be at a qualifier one day. On the other side, it was the UAE versus Palestine. Now, the UAE actually came on top. I was really surprised. I thought Palestine was going to clutch up and actually win this game. They could take them down 6-1, so very impressive tournament from the UAE. Didn't expect this at all. I really thought Palestine was going to lock in and win, but with the bye, they didn't get it done. And Palestine, once again, is ranked 45th in the world, so once again, pretty impressive from them. Now, going on to the final, it was honestly a blowout when I was watching. Pakistan ended up winning 12-1. It was actually a pretty close game. It was 6-1 pretty much the whole time. Then they kind of blew it open in the last couple innings. So 12-1, Pakistan gets the dub, and they are the Arab Classic champions. So very exciting to see that. Once again, the UAE first international tournament, they don't have any points, so they're not ranked, but very well performance from the UAE. And if we look at Pakistan, they're obviously the best team in this tournament by far. You know, we saw the crazy scores they had there, ranked 36 in the world right now. That's why I kind of had them winning, because they're the highest ranked in the world in this tournament, so it only made sense. Once again, we've seen Pakistan at these qualifiers before, so to me it wasn't surprising. So they're going to take some prize money home. I think it was about $4,500 was the first place prize. I know some people were complaining it's not a lot of money, but at least it's something. It's not these big international tournaments where they're throwing millions of dollars on the line. Baseball United is still a small tournament organizer, so you know, we gotta wait till the budgets go up. I know they have a lot of investment from all the different teams, but with the logistics of building the stadium and then getting the, you know, all the franchises ready, you know, it takes some time. But very good tournament. I liked it a lot. The stadium was cool, the atmosphere was really cool, but it was really cool because it was all streamed on the Baseball United YouTube channel. So you should go on the Baseball United YouTube channel, you go to live, and then they have all 21 games there, which was played in the tournament. So it was very cool. You can easily go back and watch and see some of the highlights and stuff like that. But very fun tournament. Pakistan ends up getting the dub. You guys can obviously see the results of every country on where they kind of landed and where they kind of ended in the tournament. Obviously, you can see kind of the picture I took of the Pakistan team with the trophy celebrating. They did get another trophy, and there was an MVP trophy as well. But with that being said, what were you guys' thoughts on this tournament? Did any of you guys watch it? Did any of you guys pay attention to it? Because I know it was kind of a smaller tournament. I know it didn't have a ton of media attention, but I definitely wanted to share some light on it because I love what Baseball United's doing. So if you guys enjoyed this video and are interested in all the stuff from Baseball United, just go on the website, go on the YouTube channel. You guys can see everything there. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.